especially if you're a kind of person who is very fixated on time and organization and schedules. You will love Germany. Not the trains though. Hello and welcome. My name is Kendra und ich bin deine Lieblingsausländer coming back to you with another video. So, the last time I was here, we spoke a little bit about the hard truths of living in Germany and just some things that I've learned along the way in the last 5.5 years. And also some things that I wish that I had known before I moved to Germany. So I hope that was helpful for anybody who's considering moving to Germany or in general just moving abroad. And now I'd like to focus on some more of the positive side of living in Germany and some things that I really enjoy about living in Germany, because there's a lot of things that are really great about living here. And at this point, I've lived in 4 different states, different cities. So I've got to experience Germany from a bunch of different angles and different perspectives. So I feel really excited about weighing in on the things that have really made my experience here memorable and some reasons why you might decide to move to Germany as well. So with that being said, let's start with the 4 things that I really like about living in Germany. The first one is pretty easy for me, and I think this is my favorite thing about living in Germany, and that is the work-life balance. Now, if you don't know, I'm from the US, which is not famous for its work-life balance. And work culture there can be pretty intense. I'm from New York City, so that means a lot of hustle and bustle, a lot of late nights, and that can mean losing your social life or having less of a social life as well. And I just don't feel that in Germany. I feel that I always have a little bit more time for my hobbies, for my free time. And also in Germany, you have a lot of legal protections as somebody who works here. So legally, you have to get at least 20 days of vacation. A lot of companies give you more. For example, I get 30 days of vacation. And it's really nice to just be able to enjoy that free time, and also just to have time to spend with my friends, time to spend doing the things I enjoy. And when you're on vacation in Germany, you're really on vacation. No emails, no texts, no phone calls. People don't expect you to be available. And I love that, because that's how I am when I'm on vacation. That's how I am at the end of the workday. When my laptop is closed, I don't expect to be bothered, and nobody expects to be able to get in touch with me. That's just not been my experience before coming to Germany, and I really appreciate that. Now, I will still stand by a hot take that I had a few years ago that got some feathers ruffled, which is that I don't like the fact that shops are closed on Sundays. I'm used to it now, but I think it makes it a lot harder when you need something kind of urgently, or something comes up and you forgot to get it from the supermarket. However, I do love the concept of the Ruhetag and just using your Sunday as a way to reset, spend time with your loved ones, and also just to generally not feel pressure to do anything. I like my coffee and cake on Sundays. I like my slow Sundays, even if it means I can't pop to Rewe or Edeka, it's fine. And I like that that's something that's just generally encouraged in Germany. The next thing that I really like about Germany is the cleanliness and organization. Not everywhere. Of course, in the cities, you have your parts of the city that are dirty, the parts where people litter, the parts that are not so well taken care of. But generally, Germany is very clean and organized. I mean, you can see it in terms of the recycling, which legally you have to do, but I like that people here take recycling so seriously, and that it's just another way to really care for the environment and to really care about the place that you're living in. Another thing about Germany is that there's a lot of rules, and some people don't like that. And it can be a little bit strict, because most of the times the rules are not flexible. Like in the US, there are a lot of rules that you can kind of bend. There are a lot of rules that you can also break, but in Germany, it doesn't really work like that. If there's a rule in place, it will be enforced. There's no way around it. There's no shortcut, and you just have to follow the rule. And to some extent, I like that, because even though there's not as much flexibility, you know that there's a process and that there are steps and that it's going to work, and there's no guesswork when it comes to how things will go. If you have an appointment at a certain time, for the most part, it will start at that time. If there's an event going on, then you know that that event will happen at this time. They'll give you the logistics that you need beforehand, and it just makes things a lot easier, especially if you're a kind of person who is very fixated on time and organization and schedules. You will love Germany. Not the trains though. Everybody knows Deutsche Bahn is the worst. I just took 2 train rides this weekend alone, and both of my trains were late. The first one was 2 hours late. The second one was an hour late. So don't come to Germany expecting Pünktlichkeit from the trains. But otherwise, Germany is pretty relatively organized, pretty relatively punctual. And it's also something that you see in the people here. When you meet a German and they say they want to meet at 7, they will be there at 6:50, which always intimidates me because if I say we're meeting at 7, I'll be there 7:10, 7:15 most of the time. So when I'm meeting a German, I know I have to be early because they are serious about punctuality. The third thing that I love about Germany is the culture and history. So I studied I studied German when I was doing my bachelor's. That was my foreign language that I decided to take. And along with that, you learn a lot about German culture, German history as well. And I studied history. So being able to experience German culture and history on the ground has just been really great for me. And like I said, I lived in different parts of Germany, so there's a lot of different aspects of the culture to explore, different words people use, different traditions people have, and of course the local histories as well. And I love that. But I also love that Germany has such great appreciation for diverse cultures. So if you live in a city, then you know what I mean when I say there's a lot of diversity in terms of cultural events, museums, festivals, restaurants. You always get a great deal of diversity. And I'm from Queens, so I'm from the most ethnically diverse part of the world. And I didn't come to Germany expecting to have so much exposure to other cultures. So I was pleasantly surprised to move here and find out that I could go to an Ethiopian restaurant one day, then I could go get Japanese, then Turkish food, Nigerian. You can also get Caribbean food if you know where to go. You have your Latino food, you know, you have access to so many different cultures. And I've even been exposed to cultures that I really didn't have access to back home, which has just been really enriching for me, I think. And I also, of course, have been able to meet people from all over the world. So that's just another layer, I think, to this expat journey and this journey as a foreigner, someone living abroad, immigrant, whatever you want to call it, is that you have the opportunity to learn so much more about the rest of the world by leaving your home country. The fourth and final thing that I like about Germany is safety and everyday trust. Like I said in my last video, I'm very hypervigilant no matter where I go, Germany or not. But generally, I do feel really safe here. And I do feel that people have more trust for each other here. Very often I see people leave their bags and the bags will be untouched when they leave them there. People also leave their babies outside sometimes. I haven't seen that one too often, but I've seen it a few times. You don't have to keep looking over your shoulder when you're here. I mean, I would never say let your guard down completely anywhere you go, but it does feel nice to be able to walk around at night and feel safe. Germany also has some rules about quiet hours and rules about what's permitted in terms of having parties or where people can drink as well. And you even see it when it comes to driving. So Germany is notorious for having really, really expensive driving classes, and it's really expensive to get your license here. So when I walk into the street in Germany, I know this person has spent a lot of time and spent a lot of money to get their license. And generally, like I said, Germans like to follow the rules. So you know that if you're living in a place where people follow the rules and there are a lot of rules in place and repercussions for those rules, people will follow them. It's just a way to feel more relaxed, feel more at ease, and not so guarded all the time. So those are the things I love about living in Germany, especially from a New Yorker's perspective, from an American's perspective. After all of these years, I can really say that the longer I live here, the more things I find that I really enjoy about living here. And I'm curious, for those of you who have been to Germany, or if you've moved to Germany, what are some things that you really like about living in Germany? Or if you're a native German, tell me some things that you like about living in Germany that you notice don't necessarily exist in the countries that you've visited or the people that you've spoken to from other countries. I'm really curious to know what people's experiences are, because sometimes it's hard to explain to people who don't live here or people who've never been here what life is like here. And that's just a little snapshot of some of the really amazing things that I've experienced while living here. That's all I have for now. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you want to see more content about living in Germany. Let me know what it is that you want to see from me. I'll be happy to tell you a lot more about my life and my experiences here. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.